Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Fortress of Comic News, episode 367. I am one of your hosts, Chris, alongside my co-host here, Mike. What's going on, Mike?
Nothing much. Interview today, everybody. David Whalen's back. Talk comics.
Old friend returns.
Yeah, it's the last three interviews now will have been like the comebacks or the greatest hits collection. So,
yeah, probably the top three. See, I should have scheduled Travis Gibb for next week. Then we could just have four in a row. A full month of just return guests.
Yeah, it would have been great. Because, we don't even have to ask him any questions because we know the origin stories. We're like, you just talk about what you want. Yeah. The floor is yours. We'll just sit back and drink coffee and look stupid, which is half of it. But
speaking of Travis Gibb, the Broke Down anthology funded.
Yes, congrats. Chris is on a Travis Gibb book, and now he can tell the ladies at the bar that he is writing alongside the infamous Jonathan Hedrick.
Yes. That is my new pickup line.
Yep.
And he approved. His wife even approved. So we're good.
You're good. That's So Chris has got some writing digs now. He's two pieces of published writing. So that's pretty big, Chris.
It's fun. I've got other stuff that I'm working on. Just no money to make comics.
Yeah, that costs money.
We're getting there.
I wasn't able to join the interview this week, folks. Work, travel, all that bullshit. But
the truth is, Mike hates guests, so he's not doing guests anymore.
Especially if Travis Gibb comes back, then I really won't be in the interview.
Well, that's just canon right there. You can't come to a Travis Gibb interview.
Yeah, I have to really stick to it. I will say crazy. So I was on a work trip, whatever. Long story short, we have a new company that owns our company, and they're a lot bigger. We had this big meeting last week to meet with everybody, big adult job bullshit. And we had to do these stupid icebreakers because it's two companies merging and they want you to whatever. One of the questions I had to answer was what would you do if you had more free time? And for me, I said, I would read more. And then the poor bastard that asked me the question asked, what would you read? And
more
I said,
Space Ghost.
I said comic books. So fast forward, they answer the whole room reads comics, blah, blah, blah. So later in the night, we have this outing, a cocktail hour, and the sales director comes up to me of the new company, the head of all the people. And I mean, I haven't really talked to this guy much. I didn't know what to make of him. He seemed like a pretty serious dude. And he goes, I heard you. So what kind of comics are you into? Golden Age, Silver Age? And I was like, oh, really? We proceeded to talk the next hour and a half about his Golden Age Wonder Woman collection, Chris.
Oh.
Insane stuff. So I got a glimpse into comic book collecting I have never seen before. Obviously, this guy. So here's what he had the whole original Daredevil run. He has the whole Frank Miller run, but what he told me was he sold off his original Daredevil run, made a lot of money on it, and he's kind of gone in between auctions with Heritage Comics and all this stuff, buying Golden Age books. And if you look at it, Batman and Superman, Golden Age books, I mean, you need to start with $100,000 to move stuff around. That leaves you with one left in the Trinity, Chris, that has quite a few first appearances, some really cool ones, and is still somewhat affordable, which is Wonder Woman. So he's collecting a lot of Wonder Woman books now. Is showing me he CGC grades everything, but he also, another side gig thing that he does is presses the books. So he goes through this whole process of pressing and you almost make a stack of paper and you cut out where the staples are to try to save some of the creases on the pages and actually get a higher grade on it and stuff. And he was showing me all these pictures of Wonder Woman books. I mean, $5,000 books, man. I was like, oh, okay. I have comics, but I have nothing of that caliber. I mean, the Golden Age comics I have are reading copies that have fucking coffee stains on the front cover, and hopefully there is a front cover on the ones that I have.
So he's really into Wonder Woman. Is he also really into bondage? Because apparently that's a big part of those original books.
No, but it really is. No, he just had some gems. I mean, he had some old school stuff that he was showing me. Everything he gets is graded, and he's in that predicament now that it's like you're in Missouri and you want to get to CGC, but you don't want to ship the books, so it's like you got to take a road trip to CGC in Florida and get that stuff graded. But yeah, there's it was a great time. It's always like, and it's always comic books that have like several times in my life where you say it and someone approaches you and is like, you buy drugs? I buy drugs. I'll go do some drugs.
Dude, I have the opposite. Like,
people run.
I get people who like, people watch the movies. Like, they're the biggest movies in the world. Of course, they're watching the movies. But like, I remember specifically when I was a supervisor for a few years there, one of the guys we hired, had a Flash tattoo, and I was like, oh fuck, like one of us. And so, like, after a few days, he's integrated, and I'm talking to him. I was like, hey, like, I know it's Flash tattoo, like, into comics and stuff. He goes, no, I just really like TV show. And as much as I respect that he likes the TV show, that was the biggest disappointment in my life.
I know, Chris, I don't think I'll ever feel such gusto for a CW TV show that I would ever get a tattoo. And I only say that right now because Katie is rewatching all of Vampire Diaries.
Mm-hmm. Oh God!
And it just reminds me of how every CW show picks the most beautiful people in the world that can't act for shit.
So this is probably a bad time to show off my Steve Amell back piece tattoo. No, I'm just kidding.
Oh hell yeah! Who was also on Vampire Diaries, by the way. I think that was like one of his first appearances.
Oh really?
Yeah, he was like killing vampires. I don't know. He was like a crazy guy in a couple episodes.
I forget, but one of my exes loved that show, and like I would catch glimpses of it, and it's just like, it's such a CW show. Like, at least the DC CW shows, like, they would do that stuff, and I'd be like, oh, and then he runs real fast, or like, oh, he's like wearing arrows and shit. Like,
he's wearing a stupid costume, so it makes sense. Yeah.
So I'm like, okay, I'm down with this.
Yeah,
but like, probably the same ex was watching that Riverdale show.
Oh yeah,
and I'm like, dude, Archie should not be this sexy. Like,
what do you got? Like, made Jughead the model.
Dude, Jughead's like in a motorcycle gang. Like, I don't know what's going on.
I heard that show gets crazy though. There's like some demon or like devil worshiper cult that's like, I heard. Yeah, someone was explaining to me that show, and I was like, what? I thought it was an Archie show. I don't know how we got there, but
dude, the first episode, like, it's all about like Archie banging one of the teachers, and they like get caught or something. And
this is not your father's Archie.
Exactly. It is like the soap opera Archie for like adults.
Maybe I should watch this show.
Not like the innocent Archie where it's like, hey Betty, you want to hold hands?
You want to go steady?
Exactly. Go the malt shop.
Yeah, I was gonna say, you want to split a malt? Oh man. But yeah, I don't know how we got to Archie. Anyways, yeah, CW. But the CW Flash would probably be the only one that, like, I mean, I can understand the hype for it because just like Legends of Tomorrow, it was so cheesy that the awful acting kind of lent itself to it.
Yeah, the problem those shows had near the end was network TV. Like, there's too many episodes, there's too much filler,
too much stuff you got to do. Yeah,
if they would have like really like dug down, made them like 12 episodes, 10 episodes, and just like told the story.
Yeah.
And then did the crossovers, because the crossovers are great. Like, I remember even when I stopped watching, I would come back for the crossovers.
Yeah, those were the best part.
Yeah. But it got so, and then after a while, it's just like, Barry, like, you keep doing the same stupid shit. Like, can you please stop?
Yeah. And then they would just like bring in characters I didn't care about. Anyways.
Bringing back this old trope, everybody. Chris and Mike hate CW.
Yeah. Hey, I love the Flash. Those first few seasons were gold.
They were, yeah. But, and to be fair, if you did what I did and you stopped watching at the true ending, which was Crisis,
you
were probably much happier, like I was.
Yeah, ignorance is bliss. Speaking of TV shows, Chris, I have not watched either of these episodes. I have caught up on Delicious in Dungeon up to episode 16, so I'm right up there. But how was episode 17?
Episode 17 is good. a very dark episode. So like after 16,
Yeah.
they released the bomb. That like they used the dark magic to resurrect his daughter or his sister and everything.
Yep.
And everybody's freaking out about it. Issue 17 is the direct consequences of that, where like everybody's telling them what an idiot they are. Like the main core group is being basically shunned because they use dark magic. And then we literally see his sister has now transformed into a monster where like her top half of her body is regular, but the bottom half is like a dragon.
Yeah, we see like I got a glimpse of that at the end of 16, I think. She was like hiding in the shadows.
And it gets very anime very quick. Like that whole sequence is like straight, it's every anime you've watched, but it's like super bloody, serious, like everybody dies, but it's Delicious in Dungeons, so they get resurrected.
Yeah, of course.
But we do get like some more lore of like some of the characters' backstories, and also they kind of get a new motivation to go further into the dungeon because now they have to save. Not only they have to save his sister again, but now they have to like find a way to unmerge her soul from the dragon because they're thinking that like the two souls got merged together, and that's why she's like half dragon, half person with feathers for some reason. Because it was a cool character design, Mike.
Yeah, of course. It lends itself to the feathers.
And then she's also got like a bunch of harpies with her that they have to fight. And I just say that because the one like thing that they cook in this is harpy eggs that I forget what they called it, but they roll it.
Okay.
As they like pour it in. Have you ever seen the videos of like Japanese cooks like using the chopsticks to like roll the eggs?
Yeah. Yeah.
They did that, and that's like the meal they have.
That's cool.
It was a good episode. It's just it's a boss fight episode.
Yeah.
Mini boss, but boss fight.
Yeah, and now to episode 17, I wonder how many episodes we're gonna get.
I'm curious too. I think we looked this up once, but we can go ahead and do it again.
Why not? I don't. Delicious. I definitely don't remember. Maybe it's 24 episodes for the first season, but it's been quite a few.
Yeah, 24.
Okay. Cool.
This list is a total of 24 episodes between 4 Blu-rays, or
X-Men 97, episode 7.
Yeah, so this is an interesting episode because so as everyone knows, I don't read a lot of X-Men, but I do know the issue of comics this is drawing from. It's actually an Avengers comic.
Okay. And
it has Rogue kind of going, sorry for the pun, but Rogue. She's upset that like Gambit is dead. They do the whole funeral for Gambit.
Yeah.
She's upset he's dead, so she goes looking for the people involved, looking for Stryker, all these things, and she runs into Captain America.
Wow, interesting.
And has like a whole conflict with him because they're both investigating the same thing. They find out that Stryker and all the people involved with the Sentinel creation had fled, so their main base that they were known at is now empty. She has a conflict with him because Cap's whole thing is he can't help. They're down in like Mexico or something, like they're Stryker and all them. He can't help her in Mexico because he's dressed like an American flag, so international incidents,
right? Of course.
All this, and she gets all pissy and whiny and throws a shield into a mountain.
Wow. Okay.
And I mean, rightfully so. She's upset. Like the person she loved is dead.
Yeah.
And yeah, it's basically most of the episode is her figuring that out, and then you do get kind of behind the scenes who is running the show. And to be honest, I don't know who it is because I'm not an X-Men guy, but I do know Mr. Sinister's involved, and he also has he basically has the tape that shows like Xavier's alive and up with the Shi'ar, and he thinks that the X-Men have been hiding this. So he's going to like drop this bomb on everybody and be like, see, the mutants are lying to you and all this stuff.
They have no idea.
Really great episode.
Cool.
And then I'll just throw in here, I watched the first episode of Fallout.
Oh, yeah. I finished it.
Oh, you did? So
yeah, I watched it all on the plane. I completely forgot that I watched it. Yeah.
I'll just say, like, I watched the first episode. first, everybody, it's a movie. Like the first episode is a movie.
Oh,
like,
for sure. It's like an hour,
almost an hour and a half.
Yeah.
It's okay. Like I like what they're introducing, but
stick with it.
Yeah, like I want to get further in because it's a lot of like introducing stuff and like you learning about the world. And the problem with me is like I already know the world.
Yeah, so. I would say they do a good job. So I finished the whole thing. And I've only ever played Fallout 4.
Mm-hmm.
But there are some towards the end of the season, there's some like stuff for like if you're the video game guys, you're like, oh shit, like that's coming.
Yeah.
But the first couple episodes are like, okay, what's going on here? And then when it starts picking up, then it's one of those shows where you're like, okay, I want to get to the end because this is getting good.
Yeah, I want to get further. I want to say though, like I heard some complaints from people who are familiar with the game that they think that it's geared too much towards people who play the game. First, duh. But
I don't see that really.
Second, I think like the big complaint is like they never explain vaults. I'm like,
they do, and the show they do.
Okay, well, I'm going by the first episode.
Oh yeah.
By the first episode, yeah, you're right. They don't. But if you're just like halfway intelligent, you can understand what's going on here. Like the world's been nuked, and they're obviously in some sort of
they've been living in a vault.
Yeah, like of course, like nuclear radiation above. Like we're in a vault, but like it's not that hard to figure out.
And that's one of the whole storylines too. Is like why they're in that vault and and you find out the whole purpose of the vaults. Like that's a big reveal. So it's for people who haven't played the games because you find that out in the game too. You're like, oh shit, like this is a bigger thing going on. Yeah.
I think the first episode for someone who's played a lot of the games, at least like I haven't played 1, 2 in Tactics, but I played 3 New Vegas and most of 4. For someone who's played all those, like the first one, it is a little boring because you're rehashing stuff I already know.
Yeah.
But I understand why it's there because it's a TV show and I bet 70% of the audience has never played the game. So it's good for what it is. It's just for me, I was like kind of waiting for something to happen. And to be fair, that too, the last thing that happens when they like release the ghoul, the cowboy ghoul that's now a meme everywhere, was really cool sequence. So
his character's amazing. Walter Goggins, fucking steals the show, dude. He is so good.
So I'm excited to get further into that.
It almost honestly makes me, because I only played Fallout 4. I really kind of want to play Fallout New Vegas.
New Vegas is possibly my favorite.
Okay, but I've heard it's really good.
Smaller and shorter than the other ones, which to me is a positive.
Yeah.
Because it was meant to be it is a spinoff, but it was almost meant to be like kind of an add-on to 3, and then it just became its own thing.
Yeah. Because I only played 4, which was really good, but like a huge, or maybe 3. Was it 3 or 4? Which is the one with dog meat?
Which system did you play it on?
Which one had dog meat in it?
4.
Okay, then I only played 4.
Yeah.
But I really like the show, and like it did a couple things. Like it explained a lot. Like honestly, it's a lot more sad than the video game because like you realize, wow, this like when you get the development of all the characters by the end of the show, you're like, this is really fucking sad for some of these characters. Like realizing the vaults and like what their purpose is, and like even the ghoul's backstory is really sad. And it's like when they show it with like the prequel stuff of like the world blowing up and children being there, it's like really fucked up.
That intro sequence where like the bombs are going off, goes off on the horse, is awesome.
Yeah, that scene, I was like, holy fuck, like that is not something we got in the games. But no, I really liked it. I highly recommend it. I'm curious what you'll think after you finish it because I liked it a lot.
It might take me a while to get through it though because I saw like the episode's like an hour pop.
Oh yeah, every episode's not. The only reason I got through is because I had like 8 hours of flying time on planes. That's the only way I got through them.
But I'm excited to get through it.
Yeah. New Deadpool Wolverine trailer, everybody. So that happened.
Yes, it did, Mike.
Definitely a lot of Wolverine in this one. I will say this trailer, you could see Hugh Jackman starting to get old. Like not he doesn't look old, but like he's definitely older, right? I mean, I'm starting to see it now.
Yeah, he's in his 50s.
Yeah. You can't be Wolverine forever.
No, this has to be the Swans. Like Logan was the Swan song.
Yeah.
And then he was somehow, I mean, money, but somehow convinced to do this, and this is definitely like it. There's no way there's more after this. And I have a feeling that like his universe or his character is gone when this is done.
Yeah. Or we'll get the new Wolverine.
Yeah. There would definitely be. I bet you the end credit sequence will be like the new Wolverine coming out, but like we won't see who it is because they probably haven't casted it yet.
Yeah. Yeah, so we get a little bit of the TV. I feel like we got less in this one, just more of like him and Wolverine, Deadpool and Wolverine fighting. But we do get that this Wolverine is from a Earth that's dead, pretty much, like where he couldn't save everybody.
Yeah. And yeah, I like that we get to see more of like the two together.
And
so it is like a buddy sequences.
It's like a buddy cop movie.
Yeah. I also this right here. Do you see what's right here, Mike?
Oh, Liefeld. Yeah.
Just feet.
Yeah, Liefeld's just feet. Oh my god.
So I saw like all of these are the Easter eggs in the trailer things that everybody's putting out. And this was in all of them. Like, I'm not saying I'm the only one that figured it out, but nobody was like highlighting this. I'm like, this is the funniest Easter egg, in my opinion, the whole trailer.
Yeah.
But
that's hilarious.
Yeah, I like the tone they're going for here. I like the action sequences here. I really hope that the whole like them fighting thing doesn't last that long. Because they do seem to stick on it in this trailer a lot.
And then who's like this villain that we see?
I was trying to figure that out. I think it's gotta be an X-Men villain. So that was the other one that everybody was freaking out about right there.
Oh yeah, the head of Ant-Man or Giant Man.
There is a like not Elseworld, sorry. Other universe story where like Wolverine lives in a giant Ant-Man skeleton. So like this is taken straight out of the comics.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
What the hell?
Some very Mad Max moments.
Yeah, we're gonna get like a Mad Max scene, which will be awesome. Yeah, it just looks like a lot of good action.
I think it's gonna be a blast, man. Like,
yeah. And then we see the Doctor Strange portal at the end, so it's like, And
that's where I get we're definitely gonna be bouncing around universes.
Oh, for sure. It's a multiverse of madness.
Yeah, sure. I think this is gonna be what we really wanted out of that movie.
Yeah.
Them just jumping into random universes. Like, I'm sure. I still think that the big reveal that they haven't shared with us yet is that they're going to jump to the Fox Fantastic Four universe.
Oh, yeah.
And Chris Evans is going to pop up as Human Torch.
That would be the only one that would come back, I feel like.
Yeah.
Unless you get Chickless to wear a rubber suit again. I don't know.
I think it'd be easy, like, to get him to come back and do it, and then like, you can find a way to like put them in the background where we can tell like, oh look, it's Fantastic Four,
or like Deadpool will be like, aren't you Captain America or something? Like
something like that'd be funny too.
He's gonna make a comment like that. Yeah, I'm excited for it. It looks really good.
I mean, I think it. Even without the state of like Marvel movies right now, where they're not as good as they were.
Yeah.
I still think that in like the pre-Endgame Marvel world, I would still be excited for this, even though it's a Deadpool movie, because it just looks fun.
It just looks like a lot of fun, yeah.
Yeah, and like I said with Deadpool 2, I thought Deadpool 2 was better than 1 because it was more Cable and less Deadpool.
Yeah.
And I think having Wolverine here is going to kind of take the edge of the Deadpoolness of it away from me. And just all the cool cameos are gonna be great. Like, I am really excited for this movie.
I hope we get a lot of cool cameos.
As do I.
Comic book news, Chris. This is pretty interesting. Coming from Dynamite Entertainment, for some reason, I didn't know they had the rights to the Powerpuff Girls, but apparently we're getting a new comic series written by Kelly Thompson and art by Paulina Nuccio. That's a great cover, by the way.
It's an amazing cover.
That is an amazing power. If anybody hasn't seen this Powerpuff Girls cover, if you're not watching YouTube, go check this out. Awesome. Kelly Thompson. Hey, old guest of the show a few years ago, I think now, but
been a while.
Been a while. I think we talked to her back when she was doing the Black Widow book back in the day.
Yes.
But I would love to talk to her about this book more than Black Widow. I might actually check this out, Chris. I was a huge Powerpuff Girls fan back in the day of the original show.
As was I.
And there's him, the creepy him, which was like the crab claws. I thought the show, so I loved everything about the show. When you think about it, it is a comic book. Like the crossover event with like the rowdy rough boys, the evil version of Powerpuff Girls. Like it just, the stories and the characters lend themselves to a comic. So this just makes sense.
It definitely does. Like this is also coming out during a time when comic book stuff and like media was somewhat relevant. Like Spider-Man was coming out and stuff, but like kind of Batman was not as great in the animated series at that point.
Yeah.
I think that was the Batman period, which we don't talk about, Mike.
Nope.
And X-Men had already ended. Like Marvel wasn't doing much in the TV space. Like it had kind of quieted down, and this came out, and I was way too old to be watching this, but
yeah,
you better fucking believe I was watching it, man. I remember going to, this is like 8th, 9th grade. The girl I had the biggest crush on in high school, I went to her house to watch the movie.
Oh, dude, I remember the movie.
Yeah, like, I have a big affinity for the Powerpuff Girls. So
yeah, and the press release is just the saying from the show, but it says the Titanic trio returns for more feats of ultra power do-goodery. So we're getting new stories branching from the original. So I think that's really cool that they're good for Dynamite for pulling out a property like this.
Yeah, we haven't given Dynamite enough credit recently. Like, yeah, it's all IP mill stuff, but like they're putting out some cool books. Like we're gonna talk about one later, and just the IPs they're grabbing. Not all of them are for me. Like I'm not for the Disney stuff or the Thundercats or anything. But like, dude, they have the Disney IP. They have the Thundercats IP. They have the Hanna-Barbera IP.
Yeah.
Apparently they have the Powerpuff Girls IP. Like they have the James Bond IP. Like
yeah, they have quite a bit.
They're putting out some cool books, so good on them.
Boom Studios announced a new horror anthology called Hello Darkness. The first arc of the stories will feature a new Something is Killing the Children story from James Tynion IV, as well as others that arc 6 to 8 issues. Interesting. So it's like including stories. Oh, wow. Look, you got Garth Ennis, Becky Cloonan, James Tynion, Brian Azzarello, Vanessa Del Rey, Werther de Ledera. Yeah, that's pretty cool. Anthology series. Horror fans rejoice in cadaverous delight because Hello Darkness is a brand new ongoing anthology featuring what Boom Studios is known for their best in modern horror, fantasy, and mystery. So they got R.L. Stine coming in, Francesco Francavilla. Yeah, this is a story. Steve Orlando, Martin Morazzo. That's a huge cast and crew of people. Everything from primal fears to modern political horrors will be explored in the classic style of creepy and eerie and the contemporary chills of Black Mirror. So, yeah, I'll probably be reading these, Chris. This looks really cool. Right up my alley.
Definitely. And I think the only disappointment for me is I'm not reading Something is Killing the Children. I've been told I should be.
I've been told too. I've heard that's really good.
But that kind of holds me back a little bit because...
Yeah, which is weird. I thought this would be all new stories, so maybe there's like it's just a one shot within that universe.
Yeah, it's over the first 6 issues, I believe.
Okay.
And I want to. So first of all, this is the Peach Momoka cover.
Yeah, that's amazing.
Holy shit, that's great.
Yeah.
The A cover though, God,
Really
I love this
creepy.
cover, man.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a really creepy cover.
it's so good. Yeah, some great talent. I love that some of the smaller publishers like Boom are doing some cool things, making some books that I'm actually excited for. So
oh yeah.
I will probably check this one out too, to be honest with you. But
I'm a big and interesting for Boom to be doing an anthology. You don't see a lot of mainstream anthology books lately.
yeah, is Boom the one doing the EC books?
I'm not sure.
Studios EC Comics.
But I just you don't see a lot lately from like anybody except on Kickstarter where you see a lot of anthologies happening because you don't see a lot of them coming to print.
I'm trying to remember who's doing the EC Comics again, and I thought it was Boom.
Oh, the you mean the like the weird horror comics?
Yeah,
I thought it might have been Dark Horse.
It's not Dark Horse.
No, it's not Dark Horse.
Epitaph from the Abyss. No, it's either Oni or Boom.
Oh, okay. Oh, maybe Oni Press. Yeah, one of them is doing it again. But
oh, is it Dark Horse? Was I wrong? Oh no, these are the classic ones. Sorry.
Yeah. Well, someone's bringing it back.
Somebody is, and it's really frustrating me now.
Yeah. Well, either way, we're getting more horror anthologies while Chris is looking it up.
Oni Press is doing it.
It is Oni
so
Press.
Yeah, that's another like horror anthology, and I've always thought that horror lends itself very well to the anthology.
Yeah.
So it makes sense.
Yeah, I think this is a great idea for them.
100%.
Dark Horse announced that 30 years after the creation of Hellboy, Mike Mignola is creating a new shared universe under a new imprint, Curious Objects, starting with an anthology comic called Bowling with Corpses and Other Strange Tales from Lands Unknown, alongside frequent collaborator Ben Stenbeck. Interesting. So we got a Dave Stewart art as well. Mike Mignola getting his own anthology universe. Interesting. I guess I think that's kind of cool because it's something you can start off with that doesn't have. Maybe there'll be some hints towards Hellboy. I'm not so sure.
Oh, read further.
Oh, okay. Here we go. I didn't see this part of the press release. New folklore inspired tales abound in the new anthology fantasy stories written and drawn by Hellboy creator Mike Mignola. From a search for the beating heart of a long-dead sorcerer to a pirate girl who makes a deal with the devil, to the titular boy who wins a grim prize in a game with some undead interlopers and more. Mignola builds a brand new world filled with weird, wicked, and whimsical in the volume that will delight longtime Hellboy fans and new readers alike. Okay. So it's a completely new thing.
Yeah, completely new thing, and right down his style.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's cool he's doing something new, different. And of course, Dark Horse, just like, have your own imprint.
Yeah, do whatever you want. Yeah.
You created Hellboy. You're the only reason we're still around.
Yeah, that we still have people buying comics. Yeah.
When we lost everything else, we could still fall back on Hellboy.
Yep.
It looks interesting, but I've never been much for Mignola. I like his DC stuff. When he was doing the DC, like he did a Batman run, he did some events there. I like his stuff there.
Me too.
The Hellboy, like weird and fantastical stuff, I've never gotten into it really. I've tried a few times, but so this will not be for me.
Yeah, but I'm sure it's going to sell a lot.
Yeah, people are going to love it. People that are fans of that whole thing are going to have a lot of fun with it.
Mad Cave Studios imprint Paper Cuts announced a new all-ages Flash Gordon comic series called Flash Gordon Adventures, coming from creators Art Baldassar with Franco art, and joined Flash Gordon, Dale Arden, Dr. Zarkov, and their allies from Mongo as they battle the evil tyrant Ming the Merciless. Readers will be thrilled by Flash Gordon and his friend's zany adventures while enjoying valuable but humorous life lessons learned about friendship, teamwork, how alien world gravity affects the digestive system, why a lizard machine is important for making new lizards, or why Zarkov develops a way to make fake beards for Ming to wear. Franco have collaborated on all their age titles like Itty Bitty Hellboy and Tiny Titans. Okay, so yeah, I've seen that art for sure. But that's cool, getting kids into like Flash Gordon that don't know about him.
Yeah, you remember when they first announced it? There was like the reprint the classics, our new ongoing, and then our all ages. And I think there was one more that they were going to do. Obviously, like this is their all ages. I think this is a perfect way to jump into all ages. Art and Franco have been doing these books forever, and people love them. So not only does it have a lot of appeal to kids and try to get kids into this universe and into comics and everything, but dude, I know adults that swear by Tiny Titans. So
yeah, it's cool.
It's a smart decision from Mad Cave and Paper Cuts, and I'm sure it'll be a lot of fun. That being said, I've never read any of their stuff.
Nope, me either. There's too much stuff to read, Chris.
Yeah, like it's nothing negative about it. It's exactly what you just said. Like
too much stuff.
I have so much stuff to read that you really have to pull me in for me to be all about it.
Oh, there we go. Your boy Chip Zdarsky's in the news, announced that his new series Public Domain is returning to Image Comics with a new story arc this July. The comic will pick right off where the 5 issues ended and feature art from not only Chip Zdarsky, but Rachel Stott will be drawing in the Universe comic The Domain. The hit Image series that won the Eisner for Best New Series is back. Can it now win Best Series? Probably not. That's a really competitive category. Dallas Comics is up and running, but can Sid put aside his feelings and make a Domain comic for a new generation before Jerry Jasper and Singular Comics beat him to it? And who is the mysterious British hunk Carter Dusk? Nobody knows, but it's his first appearance, so you better buy this issue and get it graded just in case. Wonderful. I know you were a big fan of this series, right?
Yeah, that first volume is some really great comics and some really powerful comics. Like anybody that's into the industry, into the world, should definitely read it. With that said, I am super excited for it to be back. I like that. So Chip is drawing the book as well as writing it. If anyone doesn't know, Chip started off as an artist in this industry. He did Sex Criminals along with a bunch of other stuff. And I've always liked his art, and his art fits the style of book where it's more kind of sitcom-y, or not even really sitcom-y, just like regular folks doing regular things. And for him to also bring in Rachel Stott, who has done like Fantastic Four and some other stuff as well, to be the artist for the images we see inside the Domain comic that the lead characters are making is a cool addition as well, because she has a very superhero-y style, so she can change the flow of the book as we see how their version of the Domain happens. I'm really excited for this to be back. I didn't know prior to this that he had won Best New Series, but it fucking deserved Best New Series because it was one of the best series out, and people should definitely be reading it.
Nice. Yeah, I gotta check it out. Speaking of what we've been reading, Chris, let's talk about comics. I guess let me go to my notes here quick first. Batman Superman 26. I did read that. The World's Finest issue. Absolutely amazing issue with the 5th dimensional imps. Robin getting superpowers was awesome to fight Sinestro. Superman getting his own suit to fight Kadabra to be resistant to magic was great. Parasite like sucking the 3rd dimension out of the heroes, so they get like stuck 2D to the wall by the end of the issue was wild. So I just can't wait to see more of this. It was awesome.
That issue is the definition of fun, man. Like,
yeah, that's how you do. That's how you have a fun time with superheroes. I read Dick Tracy #1. Mad Cave with the Dick Tracy series. I really liked it. Like you said, more serious than I thought. A lot of crime and embezzlement happening, and Dick Tracy with his bright yellow coat coming around. It almost reminds me like Sin City. I really liked the first issue. Jay Garrick, The Flash, #6. I think this is #6 here.
I believe so.
Yeah, so this wraps it up. Honestly, Chris, this kind of finished like all the other JSA books finished. Jay gets his daughter back. Dr. Elemental disappears. Nobody knows where he is. And then they take like a family photo with all the Flash characters. That's it. Like, I don't get anything related to the JSA none of these books have moved beyond those 6 issues. It's kind of just like we just went in a circle, and I have to think that this whole thing came from like Jeff Johns going on to do his thing with Ghost Machine or something. Like they had to wrap these books up and then he just got out of it. Because like it almost seemed like they were building up something bigger, and then it's just like all these JSA series have kind of just like fallen, like they were just cut abruptly short or something.
So I'm going to go back to what I said when this was all announced, and that's to say the JSA initiative was all announced.
Yeah.
I didn't want Jeff Johns to be the writer because I thought he already had his chance, and he did a great job of it.
Yep.
I'm even more feeling like I wish DC didn't just give Jeff Johns the shot, because at this point, like, I don't think I've read a JSA book in 4 months.
Yeah.
And I was really excited for them to come back. It's felt like it's just a way for him to weasel his way into Legion, which I'm fine with, but if he can get it out on time.
Yep.
And while I didn't read the other ones, but while I enjoyed what I got of Wesley Dodds, I feel like this has set back any future JSA stuff for a while, because now they're gonna let Jeff finish his run when they should just kill it or let somebody else finish it. And then after that, they're going to be like, we should wait for us to bring it back again. And yeah, I'm just really disappointed by this whole thing. And it sucks because like the book's not bad. The JSA book, that is. It's just, it's back to like everything Jeff's done for the past 5-6 years. Like, yeah, when it's all done, it's okay. But like, why did it take you so long to put this out?
Yeah, how did it take us so long to get here?
Yeah, so
Army of Darkness, Forever, number 7. So all the timelines are kind of coming to an end here, or they're like merging. And then the future, we realize that Ash realizes in the future timeline that there are 3 Necronomicons, like the past, the present, the future Necronomicon. And it sounds like the way they say it, it's like Dynamite Entertainment presents in celebration of its 30th anniversary Army of Darkness 3 Necronomicons. So I think that's the next installment story, because it says like next issue he's gonna set out to unite all 3 Necronomicons, which is kind of interesting. And there's like, it says like the next issue is going to answer some age-old questions posed by the ending of the Army of Darkness director's cut. So I think it's like what's going to be happening with those 3 Necronomicons, and like I think it's cool. I think they've handled the story really well. It's a lot of fun if you're a huge Army of Darkness fan. I'm really enjoying it.
Didn't even bring up Army of Darkness. We were praising Dynamite earlier, but yeah, another IP they got. That's great.
Yeah. I have some stuff. I did get a hold of the Annihilation issues, so I'm going to be reading through those over the next week. I have to read Blade, Superman, and Green Lantern War Journal still, so I did not get to those issues. Just got a little bit of a backlog here.
Well, a few other things you didn't get to this week.
Yes. Yeah, there's a bunch of other stuff on my list.
Batman Dark Age number 2.
Oh, yeah. I didn't read the first one yet.
Oh, my God.
I know.
So we start off like Bruce has been sentenced. He's 18 now. He's been sentenced to 10 years in prison. And he gets like, we get a cool little sequence where we see like the initial genius of Bruce Wayne. He gets a cake from Alfred. He like tells him to put these things in it so that he can defend himself in jail with his cake. And like he gets mugged in jail and uses the cake to get out of it. And then he's given an opportunity to get out. But to do that, mind you, this book is taking place in the 60s.
Okay.
To do that, he has to serve in Vietnam. And what's funny about that is they tell him that he's going to be a swim instructor in Vietnam. And then that comes back later on when like the announcement that Bruce is back in Gotham.
Okay.
They say in the paper, like back from his stint as a swim instructor in Vietnam.
What the hell?
But he's really a black ops guy who's being trained by Ra's al Ghul.
Okay.
And is fighting alongside like Oliver Queen and a few other people. They go on some weird missions. they do some weird stuff, and that's kind of where you get the idea that Bruce learns tactics, fighting, everything he needs to become Batman. Essentially, is in Vietnam.
Nice.
When he comes back, he meets with Lucius Fox, and kind of that's when you get the relationship between him and Lucius Fox that we've seen 1,000 times, where like Lucius makes all the toys, he becomes Batman. But that doesn't satisfy the people at Wayne Enterprises who took over in the first issue, and they send somebody to kill him. But little do they know, like, he's now this tactical genius that can fight and all this stuff. And we finally get to see him in the initial Batman suit, fighting these people who are attacking Wayne Manor. And we also get to see his first sort of interaction with Gordon, where he leaves them all tied to a light post outside of Gordon's apartment. So this is really, while last issue was the intro to who this Bruce is and like how he's not the Bruce that we know, this issue is his training and then the initial, like, him becoming Batman. And kind of the legend builds. I really love this issue as well. I think it's a really great series. You mentioned you didn't read Blade number 10.
No, I did not. The last issue, maybe? I don't know.
This is the last issue.
Okay.
They make it very clear at the end. That being said, it's the last issue. It's the big fight between him and the big bad. Like, that's basically what happens. It does set up a little bit that this leads into Blood Hunt, because they say at the end, not only is this last issue of this run, but you can follow him further into Blood Hunt, Midnight Suns, which is a part of Blood Hunt. And they also tease that there will be a new Blade book coming out later this year.
Interesting.
Didn't say who by or anything like that, but they said something's coming. So I'm like, okay, at least we're getting a new Blade thing later on. I think overall this has been a really fun Blade run. Like,
yeah, it's been really good.
Yeah, a lot of action, all the stuff you want out of a Blade book. It's all there. The Avengers number 13.
Nice.
This is tying into the Fall of X that's been going on. So basically, the Avengers have been saving a bunch of mutants from this evil organization named Orchis.
Okay.
And that's run by MODOK, which is phenomenal. And they're bringing them to the city that they now control. This like weird, definitely not the Watchtower, that city that hangs above Earth. That's also like sentient and like knows how to defend itself and everything. It's weird stuff, but we go with it.
Okay.
And Orchis sends these Sentinels to attack the Avengers, and we find out that the person that's like behind the attack is 3D Man, which is a phenomenal callback.
Okay.
And the Avengers are fighting them off, and then Black Panther and Sam Wilson Cap go to where 3D Man is and find him and fight him. And that's when it's kind of revealed that 3D Man has been basically a undercover agent the whole time. But Black Panther like hypnotized him to not think that he was, so that nobody would suspect. Weird comic book shit.
Yeah.
And in the end, like, the Avengers win, blah, blah, blah. This is a fun, like, 2-issue romp to, like, tie into what's going on with X-Men. I like that 3D Man's involved. We got some MODOK. I had a good time. It's nothing super special, but it's fun.
Yeah.
And then they literally, like, are sitting around going, like, well, glad that's over. Hope we get a break. And these, like, portals start popping up. And that's when they're like, next issue, Blood Hunt is coming. So, like,
oh boy. Yep.
Yeah. Where there's gonna be a lot of Blood Hunt talk.
Yeah. Every
like, it's coming out next week. All the books are tying in.
Yeah.
So it's good. But I'm excited for all that. Ultimate Spider-Man number 4.
Nice.
Peter has dinner with Harry. It's like his first introduction with Harry as two people. And both, like, we find out that Harry's wife is Gwen Stacy, which was a fun little reveal. Gwen and Mary J have like their own little back and forth. And this is also the issue that introduces the line, with great power comes great responsibility.
Nice.
But it's Harry who says it to Peter.
Oh, okay.
And then the B story is Uncle Ben and J. Jonah Jameson are like starting their like internet newspaper thing. and them like having a back and forth. So not a lot of flights and tights, a lot of people sitting around discussing things, but it did kind of push a lot of the lore forward in this issue.
Okay.
Duke number 5 came out. This
Nice.
is the last issue of Duke. I'm gonna spoil the fuck out of this, everybody. So if you don't want to listen to it, fast forward. So basically, like, Duke gets in a big fight with Destro. We find out what Destro's doing, which is building these like cyborg robots to fight wars. And Duke finds out that Destro's not the one building the Transformers, because as we all know, everybody's Transformers come from Cybertron. So he's like, oh shit, not only are like these Transformers out there, but also like Destro's doing this. And he's all confused. He ends up surviving this whole ordeal, getting captured by the military. And they tell him, like, listen, you've been right the whole time. These Transformers do exist. We've known about them. And we've decided that, like, you need to start a secret government military force. They don't say G.I. Joe, but, like, it's G.I. Joe.
Okay.
To fight these new threats. And they point out Destro. They point out the Cobra Law. And then the last reveal is, like, and also, like, those things you saw, we've seen more of them. And he's handed a tablet with a picture of Optimus. And it's such a good like moment.
That's awesome. That's a cool reveal.
And yeah, so this is like the beginning of the G.I. Joes in this new Energon universe. I'm shocked how much I've enjoyed this book. I'm shocked how much I'm into G.I. Joe right now. I think it's a really special book. For anybody that wants to get in to G.I. Joe and that whole world, I think it's a great intro, and you should definitely check it out.
Cool.
Mike, I got a Zenoscope book for you.
Oh, shit. Zenoscope. What the hell?
Pooh versus Bambi, number 1.
Nice. Amazing. That's amazing.
So in this world, Pooh and Bambi and Tigger are genetically modified animals that are used for like special ops missions.
Okay.
So it's like very much an action movie. Where like they go in and they got to get the thing and they kill a bunch of people and they leave.
Yep.
But this mission goes wrong, Mike.
Of course it does.
And Bambi finds the file that has them as like just regular animals, what they were back in the forest.
Okay.
And realizes like, oh shit, like the government made us and like they experimented on us and everything. And that causes him and Pooh to have a big
It's amazing.
It's so fucking stupid, but I love it.
Yeah, I know.
Him and Pooh have this big fight. Pooh ends up shooting Bambi in the face. And the whole time, like, Tigger's back there. Like, you see Tigger, but he's just this giant, buffed out tiger. It's hilarious.
That's amazing.
And then we kind of fast forward after that. Pooh is on the run. Like, the whole organization he was working for has been shuttered. And he's out in the forest, and it's just this big fat Pooh with a giant beard eating honey until like 2 hunters find him, and he ends up on the internet and everything. And then when that ends up happening, he goes back to get his stuff. He gets ambushed by these like special ops. This one of the special ops people is this woman with pigtails. It's Piglet.
Okay.
And the person running the whole show is General Christopher Robin.
Oh, that's hilarious.
This book is way more fun than it should be. I literally was just like, I gotta know what the fuck this is.
Yeah.
It's a 3-issue series.
Fucking ridiculous.
The art's really good. Like, I don't know. Go if you can find a copy, I recommend it. It's a lot of fun. It's a good action book, and it's got plenty of fun twists along the way.
That's cool. Sounds fun.
A Kickstarter book I read was Outbreaks number 2. And I'll just say, like, we've had Will on the show a few times. We talked about issue 1. It's a fun zombie book. Like, there's the typical zombie story in here. There's the other zombie story of this guy who comes back from war and gets a zombie implant and becomes like part zombie, and then like is a superhero. Like, he's having a good time with this book. Issue 3 is currently on Kickstarter. I really recommend it. It's a cool like zombie anthology book that's telling stories through multiple issues.
Cool.
And then out today, as you're all listening to this, is Space Ghost #1.
Nice.
And I got to read it, and it's a blast. It's taken very seriously. The art is really fucking good. I won't spoil too much, but like, I think if you're new to Space Ghost, you're brought along just fine. Like, it's not like there's anything super hidden that you're not going to get.
Mm-hmm.
But if you know of Space Ghost and you've like watched the cartoons or read the old comics or whatever, some of the things that pop up along the way in this first issue are going to be like a lot of fun for you, because they were for me.
Nice.
It's a great issue. I did a review for it. It's on my Substack, and I think I put in there, like, this is definitely David's best book to date.
Nice. Awesome.
So,
yeah, I can't wait to read it.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it. So everybody should check that out as you're going to your local comic shop this week.
Hell yeah.
Mike, that was everything I read this week. Where can people find you on the internet?
You can find me at Fortress Ricker on Twitter. Where can they find you and or the show?
Find me on social media at Fortress Chris. Also at chriscomicscorner.substack.com. And you can find the show at fortresscomics_, also at fortresscomicnews.com. And if you want a sports show, 5-star reviews on podcatchers, like, subscribe, share, comment down below on the YouTube version, and patreon.com/fortresscomics. Thank you all so much for watching and or listening this week. We'll see you all here next week.